Welcome to Turtleneck Table Talk, where we interview insightful people with insightful conversations. I'm your host, Austin Rempel, and this is our co-host, Devin Roberts.
And today we are very pumped because if you are an avid runner like me in Austin, then you've obviously done a 5K, 10K, maybe even half full marathon, and you run the race for fun. But today we have a guest who not only runs these races for fun, but usually places in the top 5, top 3, wins these races and whatnot. And so we're excited to introduce Janet Sumter.
Oh yeah,
Welcome
Jeanette
on.
Sumter.
Yes,
Jeanette.
yes.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me because I'm flattered that you have me. I was like, somebody actually wants to talk about running. Somebody wants me to talk about running. That's like a runner's dream. Like we always want to talk about running, but I always feel like I have to force people into my conversations with the running. But here it's like on purpose. Okay,
Yes.
good.
We're doing it on purpose.
So good. Okay.
Good. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, like just without the
Okay.
running, or like who
Yeah.
are you? Like what are you about? Yeah.
Okay, well, let me see. I don't know. Well, obviously, with my accent, I wasn't born in the U.S., but I've been here for like over 20 years now. I was born in Colombia in South America. And at first I came here to go to school, but then I guess I got married. And then I got married again. I mean, I divorced and then I got married again. So I'm a mom of 3. I have a 21-year-old son, and then when I got married again, I have 2 other kids. They are little. They're a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. So I guess I'm a mom first, and I don't know. I just so many things have happened through all these years since I moved to the U.S. and a lot of bad things, a lot of good things. But I guess right now I feel like okay, I'm a mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I have all these other things that I enjoy doing. Like definitely the running is one of them. I always been into like fitness, and I also love dancing, and I love doing all kinds of just yeah. I mean that's pretty much right now. Just being a mom and a wife, and just doing my other things to have my me time. I guess time for myself. And explore my, I don't know, my talents or
Yeah.
the things that I like to do, I guess. Yeah.
I think we identified one of those as running.
Yes.
You're pretty good at running.
Yes.
Nah, I guess I don't know. I feel like I work really hard for everything. I mean, when I really got serious into running, I started working really hard towards because there was when I first started doing the races, it was a lot of fun, and I realized I was doing pretty good, but I wasn't all that serious about it. It was once I guess once I started running the marathons, it's like when I felt like okay, I really need to like know what I'm doing because it can be if you're not learning, if you're not studying about it, then it's hard. Like you can just do more suffering than enjoying. So I wanted to enjoy it, but I know it's gonna be suffering, but I wanted to enjoy it too. So that's when I became really more serious about the running part. Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't like just grow up just doing a ton of
no.
running or anything like that. It's just you literally just started just doing 5Ks for fun or like just races for fun, and then it kind of grew.
Yeah. Well, it's more than it's like in 2013 is when I started doing races, and in 2013 is when I can say I was more of a runner but running has been kind of part of my life for many years before that. But I never did sports growing up, or nothing in school. I don't know if we never had anything like that or what. I don't know, but I just never did anything in school for sports. It was after I graduated high school and in my late teens. Kind of like my late teens is when I did first start like running, but I guess it wasn't for the right reasons at first. It was mainly I had really bad like body image, like negative body image, and yeah, I don't like talking much about it, but it was I was dealing with like almost like an eating disorder for like years, from like my late teens into like my mid 20s. I say early 20s. So, but I was running, but it wasn't. I mean, I was doing other things. It was mainly like to lose weight or stay
Okay.
skinny. So it was like it wasn't very positive at the time. And then I moved to the U.S. in the fall of '99, and that was So I started doing that back in my hometown, my home country, and when I moved to go to school, I was still dealing with all those issues, and running was always like uh, the easy thing to do because you don't need a gym. So I was always just I would run. I don't remember whether I was like how often I was doing it, or I don't even remember whether I liked it or didn't like it. I remember just doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was for the wrong reasons that then, and but then I got married, and then my first marriage, and I was finally doing better with my body image a little bit, but I was still, I mean, running was always kind of part of my life, but not like it is now. And then I had my first child in 2001, and then back then is when I had like sort of like a wake up call, because after having the child, and I had a stress fracture in my hip, and then they told me I had like low bone density and I had osteopenia. So then I couldn't do anything for like 6 months. They actually did surgery and put like 3 pins in my hip.
Oh, wow.
And so I wasn't able to do, that's the time I wasn't able to do much of nothing. I wasn't able to exercise or run. It was for like 6 months. And so then after that, I felt like, okay, I really needed to be more careful in my health, because I think it was mainly due for the years of like not eating well
properly and everything.
Yeah, so because I wasn't like doing a lot of exercise or running a lot, nothing like that. But so after that, I guess I got back to running. Everyone, and I felt like I was doing better, and I was doing it for the right reasons. That I felt like it was helping me with my mental health, because I went through a lot of bad things, and then I went through a divorce. So I don't know. I just felt like for most of my 20s, I was like in a really, really dark place. Like I had a lot of bad things going on, and so I do remember running was always kind of the thing I did. It made me feel better, and it was good for my mental health, and like the constant there, because there was so much going on, and I was moving around a lot. So I always found a place to run. So yeah, it's been part of my life for a long time, but I haven't been like, the races started in 2013, and I don't know if you want me to keep telling the story, because
No, it's great to hear.
Yeah, when you were starting not only with races, you did like some obstacle course races.
Yeah, that's how it started.
That's how it started?
That's how it started.
Okay.
Because I guess when, like I told you, I was going through all these dark times, and I wasn't living here in Kansas. I was in Texas, and I was going through a lot, and I was pretty self-destructive. Like I was drinking too a lot, like to go to sleep, and so I felt like running was the healthy thing I was doing. At least I felt like it helped me not to spiral and to doing more bad things, like a lot of the drinking. So when I finally moved to Kansas, to Wichita, I felt like I was in a better place, like I was more stable, and I started feeling like I wanted to just do better things. I didn't want to be drinking so much. I didn't want to do any of that. So when I moved, I wanted to like just meet people, and I've been always so much into fitness, and so that's the way I was gonna meet people. Like I ended up finding out about this like free boot camp or something. It was like a group, like a fitness group, and I went there. That was probably in 2012, because I moved here around 2011. And I was doing other things. I was doing like, I got like the insanity videos and P90X. And so honestly, like I realized like I was very intense in my exercise. Like I always like to push myself really hard when I did anything. But I never knew about races. Honestly, like all those years, I never even knew races were a thing. Like I just,
Really?
I didn't know. I don't know. I was like totally out of the loop. I didn't know. I always thought that was something maybe at the Olympics or maybe
I was
professionals
gonna
would
say,
do.
did you know about the Olympics though, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I knew
okay.
about that stuff,
but like
but I didn't know
casual
that
not
like
casual races.
anybody could
Could
just
do
Okay.
run
just sign up and do it. Yeah.
I just didn't know like regular people just could go do that kind of stuff. I had no idea, and I don't know why. I was having too many issues and problems that I was not even aware of all the other
Yeah.
things, and I was just running because I liked it, I enjoyed it, so I
Yeah.
didn't know any of that.
So you got pretty hooked on doing those competition races then after that. Yeah.
So when I met this group and there was a race that was coming to town. There was an obstacle course race and there was a lot of buzz about it. It was like televised. It was called Hard Charge.
Hard Charge,
Yeah.
yes.
So I remember they were like, "Oh, we're gonna make a team and we're gonna do it." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I want it. So exciting." And then I found out that you had to pay. I was like, "What? It's not free. It's not." And it was expensive. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do it." So I said, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna do it." I was like, I kind of want to, but then there was like some sort of contest on a Facebook page, and they were giving away entries, and I was like, okay, well, the hell, and just enter my name, and I actually won the entry. And then when I won the entry, and it was like 2 weeks before the race, and I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm glad I'm in shape, and I've been working out, but I don't even know. I ended up signing up for I didn't even sign up with the team. I signed up by myself to do it by myself, and the thing was like if you qualify for that race if you qualify you run the race in the morning, and if you qualify by placing a top 3 in your group or whatever, in your age group or overall whatever, you get to do the race again for the cameras, for the tele. So I actually ended up qualifying in the morning, and then I had to do the race all over again in the afternoon. It was my first race ever, my first obstacle course race, and my first race, I think. So we had to do it all over again in the afternoon. And it was pretty good. And I was like, at first I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. But then I was like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
So I was really hooked on that. I was like, oh, yeah, I want to do this again.
I'm guessing those feelings were like while you were doing the race.
Yeah, while I was doing
never
the
do this
race.
again.
Yeah.
Right after. Hey, that was pretty fun.
I know.
Let me do
So
it again.
I was hooked on that. And then I went on to do 2 other hard charts. And then I did the 3 Spartans. I did the 3 Spartan races, the distances, like the sprint, the Super Spartan, and the Spartan Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was all in the year 2013 and 2014. In that year, in those 2 years, I did all those races, and I think I did some trail races and some other just maybe road races, but not that many. It was mainly obstacle races I was doing at first. And that's when I met a lot of people from the running community, and if you, I don't know, the running community in this town is really, really good. They have all these different groups, and it's really amazing. So I met so many people there, and then I felt like, I want to keep doing it. It's so fun, and I realized wow, I'm competitive, and I like to push myself. So I was like, this sounds like really cool. And what else I was gonna say? But so it mainly started with the obstacle course races, and then I guess at the end of 2014 I remarried. I got married again, so I got pregnant pretty quick. So and I have 2 babies back to back in 2015 and 2017. So I would say from 2015 through 2018, I was still running, and I ran through my pregnancy, but I wasn't much in racing. I wasn't doing much of that, but I was still running. I wasn't doing competitions. I just kind of started racing my babies, and I almost thought I was not gonna get back to. I mean, I always knew I was gonna run because I always like running,
but not to that level.
But I didn't think I was even gonna do races. I mean, or enter any events for races. I was just like, I'm just gonna keep running. But of course, I think it was at the end of 2018 that I went to another group run, and then everybody talks about doing this race and doing that race. I was like, okay,
well.
I guess I'm gonna start doing them again. And I'm telling you, like back then, before even when I was running but not doing races, I didn't know about distances either. Like, and I never had goals of like. I know some people get into running and they're like, oh, I want to run a marathon one day. I want to run a half marathon, but I never had those goals because. Honestly, I didn't even know what the distance was. Like for the longest time,
They just put you at the start and you just roll
right, yeah.
For the longest time,
That's awesome.
I didn't know. No, I mean, for the longest time, I didn't know like how many miles was that. I mean, of course, after I started doing 5Ks and that, I knew what a half marathon was and what a marathon, like how many miles. But at that time, I honestly didn't have interest in doing that. I felt like I didn't want to do that many miles. I felt like, no, I'm not going to do that. But it's always like, I think I always do races that just it just happens to me. Like, I think in 2019, there was a new race. It was the it was a marathon, a half marathon. It was the Chisholm Trail Marathon. So I actually ended up getting a free entry. So I was like,
you
okay.
know how to get those free ones.
I know.
Yeah.
I think I'm known for like everybody else uses me like, how do you get all these free entries? Like, how are you always winning free entries? But I did get a free entry and I said, oh, I guess I'm gonna do a half marathon because I didn't want to go jumping in the marathon.
Yeah.
But even though it was never a goal, I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna do the half marathon. And that's when I did my first like half marathon in 2019. And yeah, the Mars surprise, it was like the most fun. I loved it. To this, I mean, I love the half marathons. I feel like that's my favorite distance ever.
Yeah.
And like I did really good. And so I was like, oh, I love the half marathon and I want to do more. And so I feel like in that year, I ran like 2 other half marathons. And I don't know what you're gonna say. I hope I don't talking too much and not letting you talk.
Doing fine. No, you're doing fine.
It's great to hear your journey about
Yeah.
how many races you've done. Like,
Okay, well,
that's a lot.
So what I'm saying is like, anyway, like I did race in 2013, 2014. Then it was sort of like a break from races from 2015 to 2018. But I was running, and not the intensity that I'm doing now or anything. I was running, but when the half marathon came along, I kind of got a little more serious about it. And I did a decent training, but I did pretty good that I actually ended up getting first place in my age group. And it was a big marathon, that one, because it was like, they have like money prize they had elites running that. So it was a pretty good marathon. So I got the first place in my age group, and that actually gave me a free entry for the next year. Here we go again.
What is it with you? And
I mean, sometimes that's what happened to like.
That's how it's kept you in, huh?
Yeah. When I decided I was gonna do I did 2 more half marathons that year in 2019, and I did other races like 5Ks, maybe one 10K, I don't know, but. Then I was like, okay, even though I never thought I wanted to run a marathon, since I had the free entry, I was like, well, maybe I'll just jump to the marathon and just give it a try. I mean, it's like, I already done 3 halves. Yeah. So, but then that next year, it was 2020. So, you know what happened? Yeah. So the pandemic, then it hit, and they actually ended up canceling the race. And I was pretty bummed about it. And I was like, okay, well, I was determined. I wanted to run a marathon. I really wanted to then. I was like, okay, I hope I can do it. I can do it this year anyway. It was 2020. And so, I mean, the Prairie Fire, which I think I did the half marathons the year before. But so then the Prairie Fire was still supposedly going on for the fall. So I said, okay, well, I guess I sign up for Prairie Fire marathon. And during that summer and during the pandemic, I was running. I mean, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, they're probably going to cancel it. They're probably just going to cancel it too, but I'm just going to keep running. And even though I didn't even know I still didn't know what I was doing. Like, honestly, like I feel like my thing was just run, just run a lot. And I'm the kind of runner that's like happier to just go running and not have to carry anything. So I was always been really bad about like my hydration, and I don't and I don't like carrying. I don't like the idea of having to eat anything while running, and
There's a lot of preparation people
so this
put
is
into
the this is the one thing I didn't like about the marathon, because I like to be just really minimal about that. Like I just go running, I don't take water with me, or unless I'm going like over 2 hours or something, or I stop at my car, but I don't want to carry anything, I don't want to eat anything, I just want to go run. I eat a lot before and after, but not during the run. I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. So that summer I was running a lot, and I did my best and thinking, well, it's not even going to happen. But then turns out that it happened. They didn't cancel it. And for a first marathon, I felt like it was not the ideal, because I feel like you want to have those crowds and you want to have but it was pandemic year, so there were hardly any crowds. It was like a wave start. You couldn't start all together. So
imagine if you had to do it with a mask on.
Oh no, I don't think I want to do that. But it wasn't like you want your first marathon maybe to be a little more exciting, that you can get people to pump you out,
Because there's people on the sidelines cheering you on, and then even with you having to run in waves, it's different because you don't have like necessarily people to kind of
so I know it's gonna be a lonely.
But
the good thing is that I run alone. Like probably 90% of the time I run by myself. But honestly, I was really like relaxed about it. I was like, no expectations. Even though I did have a time goal, but I felt like, I don't know, this just feels kind of weird, so I'm just going to do the race and I'm not going to worry about it. And the clueless me, and I don't know, I did have a time goal for that race. I wanted to run at 3:40 for the marathon. It was my first one, and I was like, and I even had other goals, maybe a little faster, but the kind of I thought was more reasonable was like 3:40, 3 hours and 40 minutes. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just go do it. And I started and I felt great. Oh, but another wake-up call at mile 20. I was like, if 21 to 22 miles, it's like, it really...
That's when it hit for you.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really, really bad. Like, for once, it was a warm day for a marathon. It was kind of warm. And I didn't hydrate very much during the race. Like, I didn't stop on the stations. I didn't have water with me. And I think somebody gave me a gel at the beginning. I didn't have anything to, like, fuel. Because I was thinking, I don't need it. I mean, I did, like, a 22-mile training run where I didn't have any water or nothing. And so I thought, I'm going to be fine. But, oh, my gosh. It was a death march from, like, mile... 22.
You're still here doing it.
It was like after mile 22, I was really thinking I'm not going to be able to finish this. That all my goals were out the window. I was just like, I just hope I can finish it. And there was walking, there was just jogging. I couldn't even drink anymore because I was nauseous. At that point, it's like I was just super nauseous.
Your thoughts are pretty negative at that point too.
And you're foggy because just the heat, everything your body's just giving. I
think a lot of people's first marathon is probably bad too, so maybe I don't feel so bad that it was for me. But honestly, in the end, like it was only like 4 miles to go, but it was like the longest thing for me, and I was walking and jogging and just kind of thinking I just want to lie down. I just want to sit down. I was like, don't do that because I won't get up. I know I won't get up. So I kept pushing through. And then as I'm getting to the finish line, there's a little more crowds. And that really helped. Like I just had people were cheering. I was like, oh, finally feel like I can. But then I was...
Raise your arms.
So then I see in the distance, I see the time, and I'm like, I'm still under the 3:40. Like, I can't believe this. So I was like, okay, just gonna go. I'm just gonna, whatever I had left in me, I'm just gonna go. And I actually ended up making it under the 3:40. I was like at 3:39 and some change. And that was like, I was planning on doing Boston Marathon, and I don't think I still do, but I chose that time too because that was like the qualifying time for a Boston Marathon. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would be cool just to meet the standard. That would mean maybe I did a good race, or that so that time and it seemed reasonable for me based on the training I was doing and the runs I was doing. I said, yeah, I think at 340 is, I can probably get that. But at mile 22, I didn't think so anymore. But I actually did. I actually did run it. And it was, yeah, so I couldn't believe it, but it was, oh my gosh. Yeah, I was thinking, I was not doing this anymore. That's also, again, during those miles, I was like, I'm not doing this ever again, never. But then
Right
after crossed the finish line, and then I was thinking like, oh my gosh, if I hadn't made so many rookie mistakes, and if I had hydrated better and fuel better, and I wonder how much better I would have done. And so then I was like, I want to do another one because I need to know.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how it started with the marathon in 2020, and ever since every year it's only been I only done 3. So yeah, for the next one, I was.
How many marathons have you done?
I only done 3.
Only 3 of them?
Yeah, I only done 3. Since 2020, I done one every year. So I've done 2021, 2022. But I know after the first one, and I knowing that I made all those mistakes, and that I decided like, okay, I know I can do better. So I think I got too excited too soon and like too enthusiastic that I got back into running too quickly. Like I probably needed time to rest,
More time to recover because
But I just wanted to, and I started doing because I told you I was pretty clueless. I even though I ran so much, I just didn't know much about, I don't know, how to train good, so I started running a lot, and then I got hurt at the end of the year, like in November, and I almost couldn't run for like 3 months. Like I was hurt. I tried to run, and I was hurting like my hip flexors. I don't know. So I almost couldn't run, and then is when it hit me like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna keep doing marathons, and if I wanna do good, and I don't wanna like put myself through so much, I'm gonna have to like learn. I'm gonna have to study. I'm gonna have to really know what I'm doing, because we think sometimes it's like, oh well, it's just running. There's just one foot in front of the other. There's nothing to it, but it's really more.
Yeah.
It's really a lot more than that. Like,
what are the steps you've taken to learn and improve on your marathon running here?
Well, yeah. So after that, when I was hurt and I decided like, okay, I really need to learn it to know what I'm doing. And so this doesn't happen again. I don't want to get hurt because I'm just doing crazy things. And I don't want to do another marathon like that where I'm just suffering so much in the last few miles. So I started reading a lot of books. I just got into reading a lot of books. I like running forums, podcasts, everything. I started just really like immersing myself in the running and just like learning. I'm just learning and learning. So 'cause I'm like coaching myself pretty much. So I just started. So then I started just, okay, I'm learning what I need to do, all the fueling that it goes to it, like during the marathon, the hydration. I'm learning how to run like my training is just probably better. Like I just don't try to do too much intensity and like take my slow runs, like going slow, easy runs, and a lot of like strength training. But I always like strength training anyway. I always like doing that. So I just felt like I just did so much studying, and once I back to the marathon training in 2021, I was doing things in a smarter way. And then I got my fueling and hydration plan a little better for the marathon I did in the fall in 2021. And boom, I got a 20-minute personal record on that. Like I went from a 3:39 to a 3:19. And yeah, so it was pretty good. And we also usually never get like that great weather in October for the Prairie Fire. Sometimes we get lucky, but it's always kind of on the warm side, so it's never ideal. But I still did pretty good on that one. So every year, like then last year, I felt like, okay, I kind of getting the hang of it now. I kind of know better what I need to do. And so it's just learning a lot, and then a lot of hard work. Like it's hard to train in the summer too. Especially I don't get up early. I do my
I was literally going to ask you about like when do you figure out the time for your runs, because I know that like when I trained an ultra runner, she would have to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning because not only the heat, but because of kids and everything like that, she would have to wake up super early and run and then get home and then be able to get the kids off and stuff like that. So how do you like what time of how do you fit in your runs? Because like I said, when you get deep into some of your training, you know, you're out
It's time consuming.
yeah, it's very time consuming.
Well, I'm totally like different because I don't do early morning runs. I kind of work it out. Well, like in the summer, my kids really go to bed super late because their dad likes to go to bed late. So they actually go to bed like way later than me, my kids. So they're sleeping they're sleeping until like noon.
Oh man.
So I honestly, my running is not so strict. Like I like it for me to be fun and like sustainable. I feel like I need to do it my way. I don't be like, oh, I have to be up at 4 and do this. I don't do any of that. I just like I get up. So I mainly do my runs. It could be late mornings, which it can be really hard with the heat. But the thing is that even though I try to go to bed kind of in a good time, I have a lot of sleeping issues. Like I wake up sometimes in the middle of the night. It takes me a while to get back to sleep. So then I have to sleep in a little later. So for me, it's like the priority. Like, okay, I feel like my sleep is more important. Even if I have to run in the heat, I think I'm gonna choose the sleep, and then I'm gonna run in the heat. And like, so honestly, like I do a lot of runs late mornings, like maybe starting at 9. And my longest runs, I never wanted to be my longest run more than 3 hours anyway. So yeah, I don't like doing more than 3 hour long runs for even marathon training. And sometimes I just run like I've been running a lot like afternoons. Like this Sunday, I did my long run starting at 3 in the afternoon because that was the only time that kind of worked for me. And I ended up running like almost 18 miles, and it was like at 3, it was like 90 degrees. But honestly, I don't know. I didn't feel too bad. Like, I don't know if I'm just already so acclimated, but
I think it is because you're acclimated. Because I was out there around that time and it was hot.
I know. It's like I felt good doing that run, and I ran almost 18 miles, and I was close to the 18 miles, and I started at 3, and it was like a 2.5 hour run. And then and I've been doing a lot of runs. Sometimes I go like at 2 in the afternoon, and I try to do, when I'm gonna do like a track workout, like a speed workout, I do prefer to do it maybe in the morning, but it's never that early because I don't get up that early.
Okay.
So, but it still feels better to me since I've been running like in this really hot weather, like afternoon, 5 in the afternoon. So it's been kind of random. I don't have like a strict schedule for my running, and that kind of works for me. Like that, I feel like that makes it more fun for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm not like feeling like it's a chore, like it's a job. I always tell myself, nobody's making me do this. Nobody's making me do this. This is something I'm doing for myself that I enjoy doing. So I don't want it to ever feel like a job. Like, oh my gosh, I missed the 4 o'clock in the morning run. Now my day's ruined, or I cannot get it done late. I mean, so I feel like for me personally, I feel like when I don't have a schedule, when I just I fit it in whenever I can, to me it's more fun, or I don't know. I just feel like
it's good not to lose sight of that what you started doing it for. Yeah.
So I feel, to me, that's what works for me. I mean, some people like more the routine, but it's weird because in a way it is a routine for me, and I always,
without a routine.
Yeah, and it feels, and I don't ever feel like, oh, I'm not gonna do this run today because I always kind of look forward to doing it. So even if I'm like busy all day, and then it gets like, oh shoot, it's almost 6 at the night, I better go get my run, and I do, and it's not like I don't feel anymore doing it. So I don't know, it just works for me, and it's also my time, my time, like my me time to. Like a break from the kids and
everything,
So I don't know. I like it. I like doing it that way. I just feel like, for me, that's what works for me personally, and I don't ever feel like I need to get up super early. I think that will make it. I think that will make it less enjoyable for me if I had to put an alarm clock. I just hate
a lot
that.
of people are kind of
But I don't.
buying into that mindset of going early, being disciplined about it too.
Well, yeah, but also I stay at home mom, so I don't have a job that I have to go.
Yeah, that's true.
So I know I understand people, but I do have to be like, okay.
It is a job though.
So it's a job, and a lot of times I need to do things like, okay, I'm gonna prepare all my dinner items around 2, so I can go run around 7.
Sure.
So I have to work it out like that too. And when the kids are in school, well, I mean, it's not like I can just go anytime, but I try to make it work. And normally I do like to do it in the morning when my kids are still sleeping. So then I can, today I ran this morning, and that always helps, does feel good, because then I know that I can just do whatever. Sometimes we have plans with the kids, so I don't want to like, oh no, I cannot go because I'm going to run. I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to make my family like second. My family is first, and then the running second.
So, can you tell us, because we've kind of thrown out some of the numbers and whatnot, but can you tell us like some of your PRs for like your mile, your 5K, your half, and for like the half and like for the marathon? Can you put it like how like minutes a mile type of thing, so that people who don't run like a marathon per se can kind of see like how that is broken down?
Let me see if I remember. I mean, I remember definitely the big ones, but let's say, well, like the mile is kind of, I did run a 1 mile race for the first time ever this year. And it was at the track. So the track is usually, I didn't even know, but it usually goes a little longer for the mile. So I was a little like, what? My watch hit the mile. So it's like instead of like 1,600 meters, it goes a little longer. So I ran that. It was like a 5 minutes and 51. That was my mile. I think that's my fastest mile so far.
That's very especially since you do more distance stuff.
Well, yeah.
So because there's a big difference between doing short distance and long distance. So that's
and honestly, I don't feel like I'm that good at the short distance. Even the 5K, I feel like I don't have that speed, like that raw speed. I don't know. I just don't feel like I have it. I need to work towards it, because to me it's like, to my 5K and my my 5K almost to my half marathon pace, they're so close together. Like I'm able to run like pretty fast and stay consistent for a long time with that pace. Yeah. But when it comes to like a short race, it's hard. Like I don't know, I just don't have the power to like go so fast from the get-go, I guess. I don't know. I did run a mile that was, when it actually was faster than that. It was like 5:47. It was like, I have my kids on the, like, healthy running kids, and they do like a parent mile at the end, like the parents have to run the mile.
So you just show your kids what's up. I see. So when the kids get involved,
well,
you really put a show on.
It was just the parents. So at the end of the whole thing, like the parents have to run the mile, and that was my fastest mile that I recorded on my watch. It was like 5:47. Because when I did the race at the track, it was slower than that, which I was like, oh, I don't know.
This is what mom can do, kids. Watch this.
So yeah, I guess that's for the mile. What else? 5K. I mean, I've done a 2-mile race. I don't really remember. It's somewhere in the 12 minutes something. I know it was under 13 minutes for my fastest 2-mile, but I don't usually do 2-mile races. It was one that I did, a couple. I don't know.
Well, since you're recently doing marathons, what's your marathon time?
Well, yeah, my marathon definitely is the last year marathon, the Pretty Far. It was at 3 hours and 14 minutes and some change. I never remember. But that's like, I think in my watch it was like a 7:21 average per mile. So, and that was another adventure. That one started kind of, and then I ended up doing good.
I don't know if I think that's like close to like what I could maybe run a mile at now. Like,
like 3 hours and 15 minutes?
No.
Okay. Hold on, wait. I would hope. I think I can do that, but I'm not sure. I haven't really tried it recently. But yeah, no, I got you. I got you now. I got
But
you.
yeah, so for the marathon, yeah, and that was my third marathon, and that was the pretty far that I
Yeah,
won.
yeah, and I
Yes.
saw you. The
Yeah.
only research I really ever saw of you was you winning the Road Runner of the Year. Was that?
Oh, that's
Did you
gonna
win something with that?
be. I think we were in some. I think they pick like people that done really good during the year races, and I was part of it. There was other. There was like three other runners there too, but I was one of them. Yeah, that I know of. Somebody showed it to me because I had no idea either. Otherwise, I would have never looked for that. I didn't know.
You're
But
just
yeah.
winning awards and not even knowing about it. You just
But yeah, so
Oh,
the
thank you.
but the marathon, the last one was my fastest. That was my fastest to date, and
Nice.
I don't know. I hope this year I can. I'm training
Yeah.
again, and I'm doing it again. I don't know if. Hopefully, I don't know. It's always nice to get a PR to
Right.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
That's
winning is
what we're
fun.
shooting for. Winning is fun as well as PRs. I would say more fun almost if you win
Yes.
and get a PR.
PR, icing on the cake. Yes.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
But you talked a little bit and about the running community in Wichita. Can you kind of elaborate? Like, is there
Oh,
like
yes.
running clubs or like
Oh,
how, like if
yes.
somebody was interested in getting more active with running and whatnot, like what would be the best way to go about it?
Okay, yeah. Well, the running community here is really, really amazing, like I said. And they have so many different groups. Like, you can go on Facebook, probably. You can find, they have the Wichita Running Club. I think that's one you can go to. And they also have the one that's called Joggers and Leggers. That's the one I kind of started with.
I
Then for
think I've heard about that because they will pick a place downtown
Yeah.
and they'll do like a run and then they'll have beers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah,
20 years
it's a drinking club with a running problem or something like that.
That's awesome.
I think
That's funny. Oh,
but
man.
yeah, so they have that, and for women only, there is a really awesome group on Facebook called She Runs This Town, and I'm in the Facebook page. It's really, really good. It's like all women. That's for all women. It's really supportive group. It's for only women though, but it's like really, really good. Sometimes they organize runs. It's awesome. You just gotta go. That one is She Runs This Town, and then now they have Park Run. Okay, now they have the Park Run that's every Saturday, and it's a free 5K pretty much, and it's time, and it's run by volunteers, and I like to do it sometimes. It's pretty cool, and so yeah, I like the Park Run. When I found out they were gonna come to Wichita, because this is like something they do like in Europe, and it's pretty popular. And when it came to Wichita, and I know the people that organize, so I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to go there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great to hear.
And apparently I have the course record for the 5K there.
Oh.
So I don't know. Somebody needs to go and break it.
Of course you do.
But
Just so
somebody needs to-
casual about it. Like,
I just won a lottery ticket here.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess
I
I
got
got
the
to
record
buy
too.
I
it.
don't
Yeah,
know.
don't-
Somebody, I know a lot of runners that are like way faster than me. They should just go there and break that record so easily. But I don't know
Yeah.
why they haven't. But
That's
yeah, it's good. It's the running community. If you want to become a runner here, I mean, you have so much support in this
Yeah.
town. You
Yeah.
have so much support.
yeah, that's
so
good to hear.
Farlex, the running store, there's Farlex, Smoothie Shop. They have a run, I think, every week too. So if you're the kind of runner
you
that
go.
wants to just like, it makes it so much easier if you run with people. Oh, you have so many options. I mean, I think the best way is probably Facebook. You can find them on Facebook and yeah, just go. That's what I did at the beginning when I just wanted to. I was running alone and I liked it, but when I wanted to like do social, like and meet people, then yeah, I found out about all the runs, group runs on Facebook, and yeah, I met so many cool people. I probably met you through met Devin through some of those. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, just random, community event thing, yeah.
Community.
So yeah,
That's awesome to hear about. Yeah, Wichita's got a good community for
Oh
that.
yes, like
And it's
huge.
great to hear your
It's-
advice for getting into that as we kind of wrap up this interview. So
Okay, yeah.
really appreciate the
Okay.
advice, hearing about your story. It's been really cool.
Yeah.
And
We're just really excited that we were able to get you as our
Yeah.
guest and just to spread more information about not only yourself, but the running community in Wichita. You're so modest, but you are such an incredible runner and racer, and you just go and you do these races, and you are not only do you do well, but you're so helpful with people and so friendly and everything like
Try.
that and everything. And so I'm just so happy to see all your accomplishments and to see what you're going to continue to accomplish. And I'm just happy to have you. We're happy to have you here to spread the love of running and hopefully get some people inspired to do some running in Wichita.
Who knows?
Yes.
We'll
No,
see.
thank you.
Yes. So thanks for tuning in. This is Turtleneck Table Talk. Don't forget to subscribe and to tune into our episodes and follow us on our social medias.